What's going on, guys? Matt here. Today we are looking at the Esee Izula. Very interesting Esee knife. Just got it. As you guys know, I have really fallen in love with the brand Esee. So I wanted to start out with their kind of most bare bones, simple design, and then we'll work our way up to knives like the Esee 4 and stuff like the Esee 6. Yeah, that's not a traditional Esee 6 sheath. But today we are looking at the Izula. So very interesting knife, kind of a dedicated, skeletonized, simplistic design, and we'll look at some comparisons. Then we'll talk specs, what I like, what I dislike, and something unique. But first of all, let's compare it to a few knives. So let's look at it to I think, Sheath comparison. No, this one isn't a joke. I do that sometimes. So I would throw a sword on there and be like, yeah, it's a Sheath comparison. I think it's funny. Anyway, I think a Sheath comparison of it would be like the CRKT Minimalist. A little bit bigger of a blade on the Esee, but kind of a skeletonized, kind of bare bones fixed blade knife you can carry on your belt without too much hassle. So I think that's kind of a knife that it would compete with. So yeah, there's one that it would, I think, compete with. Let's look at it in comparison to another small knife, more Eldris. Similar kind of style too, as far as small knives you can kind of carry with you indiscriminately and discreetly, rather. And even though this is a lot different, a lot more comfortable handle on this guy, obviously. And let's look at it in comparison to another Esee, and we'll go with the bigger guy, the Esee 6. So you can see kind of the overall length of this thing is about the length of the blade on that, right? So this is not a large knife. And so let's talk about the specs real quick. So on the Esee Izula, you are looking at a 6.25 inch overall length, right? Blade length is 2.87 inches. The handle is 3.375. 1.9 ounces for this knife. Yes, it is a very lightweight knife, and I really appreciate that about this knife. It is 0.16 inches thick, and it is made of 1095, like most Esees, with that Rowan heat treat, which apparently is quite nice. Has a good edge holding retention. This is, of course, made in the United States of America, and if you're wanting to pick one of these up, you are looking at right at $60. Now, Esee makes multiple versions of the Izula. They make small little micarta handle scales you can get with this, or they make the Izula 2, which has full micarta handle scales, and it's a lot more comfortable, obviously, than this, but it's not kind of as discreet as this. It's not as slim of a profile. You're getting kind of more into just a small kind of camp fixed blade on that knife. So it's a little bit different, a little bit kind of different uses, practicality. And I also do want to mention it comes with a polymer sheath that also comes with a belt clip right there too. So let's talk about what I like about the Esee Izula. So I love the weight. I think that this is awesome. 1.9 ounces for any knife is fantastic. It is skeletonized, but it is full tang, so it's still going to be a lot stronger than a lot of, folding knives that you have. So I think that 1.9 ounces is fantastic. Well done, Esee, on the weight on this. Obviously, with the sheath, it will be a little bit more. Still extremely carryable. Another thing I really like is this drop point design. Now, Esee is kind of famous for, you can see that tip is very similar, right? Very similarly shaped. They're famous for that drop point design with a good bit of belly. So I like a drop point if it has belly and it's not just a bunch of straights. So really like that design. It's just practical. It's useful for just about anything you could want. I can see this being a really good skinning blade with how slim the profile is. Very easily usable. Lightweight, your hand won't get tired. I could see this being an excellent skinning blade, aside from the fact that it's 1095, and it might dull a little bit easier than, definitely easier than this S35, or even this D2. But sharpens really easily. So would be, I think, an excellent skinning blade still. So like that drop point. I also just like the simplicity. I like the simplicity of a knife like this. It just comes with a sheath. You can carry it scout style. You can carry it standard. You can put it in your pocket, really, with how lightweight it is. I like a simple design knife like this. And with this, you don't need to worry about handle scales, right? Of course, it's not as comfortable as something like this. It's just not. It doesn't fill the hand out as much. But still plenty comfortable for what it is, right? And that is another positive I have, is the handle. Yes, it's skeletonized. Still plenty comfortable for kind of what you could use it for. But I just like the simplicity, because there's essentially the only thing that could go wrong is this breaks right here, right? Maybe right here would be an easier point for it to break, but that's the only thing you can really see going wrong with a knife like this. You don't have any pivoting, any issues like that. So another thing I really like is the finish on this. Now, I think they have a name for it, but I couldn't find it. And it's it looks almost like a stone wash bead blast maybe, but that has a specific type of coating on it. It's to prevent rust, obviously, but it looks a good bit different. Just to give you guys an example, you can kind of see that under the light right there. Let me pull the SE6 out. I had kind of this extra leather sheath, so I just went ahead and bought this knife. It was a lot cheaper, by the way, and I got this for like $100, and I just threw it in this sheath. I'll probably get a plastic one eventually, but look at the difference in these finishes. You can really see this is obviously their like traction coat, I think they call it. I think it's like a Teflon. It seems to hold up pretty well in comparison to other Teflon coatings, but I really quite like the look of this. I think this has it makes it look kind of stone washed, and I really like the look of this. I think it's fantastic. So I'd like to see this style finish on their bigger blades, because the Humulus has this finish as well. So another thing I quite like is the sheath. Now, there's a negative side to the sheath that I will talk about. It's simple. It's very much like the SE4, which I would show to you, but it's actually clipped to my belt right now. And it comes with a clip right here as well. You just put those on there. It's easy. It's simple. It works. It's plastic. A little bit of shake, but not much. So I think it works great. I'd like to see Kydex, of course, but this works just as fine as Kydex, I think, and perfectly acceptable for a knife around $60. Better than some, to be honest. So that's made in the United States of America as well. So another thing I really like is the accessories. A lot of times you'll get a knife that it just comes with the sheath and you're wanting to mod it right out the gate. That's usually not the case with SE. So you have this belt clip. You can actually mount this Scout style, but you can only use 3 of these, but it would work just fine. I love what Esee does is they give you this card in here, and it has like survival tips, measuring, kind of things to do if you're in a survival situation. I just think it's cool. They really show that they are Randall's adventure training. They kind of teach people how to survive in tough situations. And, just the stuff that comes in the packaging on the box. Again, you have more stuff like that right there. I love that about Esee. I think that's fantastic that they do that. So the accessories, excellent. Well done, Esee, on the accessories. And I did mention this, but I'll mention it again. I think it is comfortable for the style handle it is, right? It doesn't feel like this. This is a very comfortable knife. And guess what, guys? Real quick, as an aside, I prefer these flat micarta or G10 scales over the contoured ones that they came out with a few years ago. Same thing with the SE6. I had this originally with the contoured handles, and there was a hot spot when I held it like this, right about there. Maybe it was just with my fingers. It was comfortable, but when I started carving with it, I got a really bad hot spot right there, and I got a bad blister on one of my trips. That's the last thing you want. I traded someone for these standard flat micarta ones. Way more comfortable to me. I mean, I can carve with this thing all day long. I think it's fantastically comfortable. And it's the same thing with this. These are really the same style handle scales with that little pop of orange. Really like these micarta scales. This was way more comfortable than the contoured ones. And I think the reason is, guys, and maybe you can attest to this, if you have people talk about having big hands and liking the contoured scales more. My hands are big, but they are short. So I don't have a lot of grip area. My fingers don't wrap further around, so I need more surface area to get a comfortable grip. My fingers are actually quite short, so I need kind of a thinner grip to get a good purchase. Just an aside real quick. But yeah, this is quite comfortable just for being what it is. It feels exactly how you think it would. Would I want to carve with this all day long? Absolutely not. I would not recommend this as your standard camp knife. Oh, this is my go-to knife. No, get the Izula 2 if you want something as your go-to outdoor, camp knife or something like that. Just because it's not going to be super comfortable utilizing it all day long, carving like that. It just will not be. So, but it is comfortable for what it is. Okay, let's get into what I don't like. And it's really just one thing. Esee, I bragged on you guys in my last video. And you kind of let me down just a little bit, not a ton in this one. But the retention on this, it's gotten a little bit better. But it was quite tough out of the box. I mean, it's actually gotten a lot better, but you can see how much I really have to, you can see the indent on my finger, push this thing in. It's gotten a lot better, but you can see how hard it is by, look, that's the plastic indentation right there. That's how tough it, and it's bringing off plastic. So I just think the finish maybe wasn't done very well. You can kind of see inside there on this specific sheath out of the factory. Is it the end of the world? No, I mean, this is a cheaper Esee knife. It's not like, you know, this is like a $140 knife. So a little bit different. You want this to, you know, you're paying a good bit of money. But, you know, 50, 60 bucks, which I got this on sale for 50, you know, it's not a huge deal, but still, Esee, I bragged on you. I said, you know, I've never taken an Esee out of the box and it hasn't been good to go. This one needed a little wearing in. So, just a little bit disappointed about that. But everything else, you know, it was exactly as expected, right? Simple design and a very straightforward knife. So let's get into what's unique. Well, I think that this is really cool. This is kind of Esee's, I think it's Esee's cheapest knife, aside from the Zancudo, which isn't even really made by Esee, although it is an Esee knife technically. And that's a folding knife. This is their like cheapest fixed blade, but it still comes with that Esee warranty. And so you're getting a $50, $60 knife that if you break it, you get a new one. No questions asked. So I think that's awesome, that you can get a knife that will literally last you forever for 60 bucks. So would I recommend it? I think I absolutely would, guys. If this is what you're looking for, again, it's a very niche knife. If you're looking for just slim, lightweight, maybe a knife to you know, go trail running with, I think this would be a fantastic kind of option for that. But yeah, absolutely recommend it. It's a great knife. We're going to be seeing, as you can see, many more Esee knives in the wings, bunches of knives coming in. I want to take a really close look at this Cold Steel Magnum Tonto and at a few other knives as well. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.